Morning.
Good morning, right here.
Hi.
So, Mason, oftentimes when fighters get a second chance in the UFC, a second run, they kind of change character. Can you talk to us about how you change character, how you changed your approach? You're coming off 2 wins. Last time you only had 2 losses out of 4 fights. What's your new approach?
I wouldn't really say it's a new approach, more so as I'm just wiser this time. I was young at 25 coming in the last time, and it's very hard when things are taken out of your hands a little bit. Like my debut against Mike, I watched that back so many times, and I still thought I'd done enough to win that, even though I clearly didn't. The Alan Patrick fight went the way it did, where I literally smoked him for 2 rounds and ended up with no contest. So then I went into that third fight, carrying so many injuries and niggles, and I needed to just make it paycheck to paycheck. So I was like, I need to get this win in, and I secured a win, but I still felt as if I was sort of chasing my tail. And then the fourth fight come, and it was non-stop pullouts and circumstances and changes, and just it was a lot of things I can say, but it's just excuses on my end. I didn't perform. The 4 fights I come last time, I just didn't perform. I didn't do what I needed to do. This time back, like when we chose to leave the UFC, I felt I just needed a break. I felt like I needed to rebuild, and I felt like I had a lot of learning to do. And I stepped back. I had to work on a lot of things. I had to trim down a lot of things, my friendship circles, my family, and it was a lot of things I needed to sort of release before I felt like and really start building up momentum. And I went back to Cage Warriors. I started walking through fights, and the UFC offers straight away were coming in from the start. And then when it worked out the way it worked out, because before Jeremy Stephens, I got offered two UFC fights before the Jeremy Stephens fight, and there was another 1 or 2 I put my name in for that never worked out. So it was the UFC offers were flooding in for 12 months, and then I took a fight. The opponent turned me down on 5 days, and then the Jeremy Stephens call came, and everything's just worked out the way it has. And it is definitely a wisdom approach. Like you asked what had changed, it's just I'm wiser the way I do things, the way I'm more patient now. I'm more laid back. Like last time we joked about it. Last time I was in London, it just everything went wrong from the time I arrived. My mindset was wrong. The approach to the fight was wrong. I took on Ludwig Klein, who's a serious opponent, on 10 days' notice, and I'd been preparing for a completely different fight, and I went in there, and it's still a fight I should have won, and I fought it stupidly. So I'm just more, like I said, just more intelligent in a lot of things, wiser. Like intelligence is something you have, whether you have it or not. You're either intelligent or you're not. Wisdom is something you gain with age, and it's an experience thing.
But it worked out so far, like you said. In your last fight, you had a tough start against Okibolaji. What kind of adjustment did you make, considering you ended up with the win, but it was a tough start for you?
I was very unwell before that fight, so I lied to my coaches about it, but I've been struggling with vertigo before that fight, and I woke up and my balance was everywhere. I was struggling to stay on my feet. So, to be fair, there's a quote I always say, and it doesn't matter whether you're 100%, 20%, 30%, all that matters is you win. And Oki gave it a good first round, and as soon as the pressure started to change in that first, he started to break, and then I broke him in the second. For me, this is going to be clinical. I feel superb moving into this. My weight cut, as long as everything goes the way it should do, which we're all on plan to, because it's easy to say it's all going to go well, but until you start cutting, you never know how it's going to be. So as long as my weight cut goes well and I recover well, you're going to see a refined performance, and it needs to be. Axel Solar is no walk in the park. Axel Solar, toughest fight to date, easy. He's got an awkward style. He's intelligent. He hits hard. He's big. It's everything that will make it a fun fight. So I'm looking forward to it.
Last question for me.
Yes,
You're
sir.
going to make your third fight since your comeback against Axel Sola. What's the best case scenario at the end of that contract?
For me, there is nothing above Axel Solar. There's 4 fights on my contract, so I'll have one more after it. But if I try and look above Axel Solar, I'm going to end up getting taken off at the knees. I need to focus on Axel. There's things I want to do, obviously, like we've called this my third foundational fight. And I mean that by, if I beat Axel, my foundations in the UFC are set. That means I can start reaching and I can start building up and I can start looking at a number. And I'd love to get my face on a poster, even if it's an Apex one.
Thank you, Mason.
Mason, you said in a video that you released on Instagram yesterday that you really have to take the emotion out of this fight on Saturday based off what happened in 2022, last time you fought for the UFC in the O2. How do you navigate taking the emotions away? And is that a real mental win on Saturday as well? That it really means something significantly for you because obviously you had a tough time after that fight in 2022.
Absolutely. Like the amount of sort of backlash after London from people close to me, people around me, different things, and I had a choice where I was either going to give up or I was going to dig deep. And for me, I just felt as if I didn't actually got my legs going. I didn't feel like I actually hit my stride, even at a walking pace last time. Like my last four I did in the UFC, the first stint I had, every single fight I felt like I didn't deserve to be there. I didn't feel as if I was ever secure. Like I had fight the night in the debut, and the boys I trained with in Team Alpha Male, all experienced UFC vets, were like, "Look, you're fine." I was like, "No, I'm not. Like, if I don't win the next one, I'll be gone." And I haven't had that this time. Like, I beat Jeremy Stevens, and I enjoyed that fight, and I really let loose. The Oki Balaji fight was a brilliant fight for my mentality because I remember I had my fingers in the cage, swinging my feet, trying to warm up, and everything. I was sore. I didn't feel good. My balance was off. And I remember looking at Oki, and he was so pumped up, and he was in such good shape walking to the fight. And I thought, this probably isn't the best, the best time for me to be in here. And you've got to get through fights like that. And I showed that I'm tough, and I can grit through it, and that worst come to worst, on my worst day, I can still beat people on their best. And you're not going to see that Saturday. You're going to see me at my best, and it is going to be a massive victory for me. It's going to be my redemption for the last time. Yeah.
Are you really proud that you're becoming another poster boy for someone that has rebirthed their career after initially being released from the UFC? Because you've got guys like Nathan Fletcher who'll be looking at your career pattern and looking to emulate that. And obviously, right at the upper echelon of the sport, you've seen Brandon Moreno do amazing things.
See, I never got released. This is the thing. Like, I know people don't believe it, but it was the last fight in my contract, and when it came down to renegotiate, I literally said that I said no. I need to go back. I had too much stuff going on, and it was way too much. So I never got released, and I never know whether there was a place for me or not. We just never had a place for that discussion. I just said I need the time. But for me, like I said, I've just grown as such a person, and when you leave the UFC, because the UFC is the ultimate, like, whether people argue it left, right, and centre, I think it's more cemented to this day. In MMA, the UFC is the top organization to be in, from a promotional type of place, from a regularity type of place, from a pay type of place, whether you argue with it or not. They are getting there. It is. And as a career, like, I had, when I run, I do a lot of my visualization when I run, and there was a thing I had this time, and it was, I've chosen to be here every single time, especially after London. Every day I chose to do this to myself. When I had 12 months where I was starting to spiral into debt because I had no sponsors and no money after I left London. I didn't fight for 7 or 8 months. I had to have surgery after it because I ended up coming back, rushing back to training and getting injured again. All I had was the drive that I could be here and I could do better. And then the Des Moines fight happened, then the Paris fight happened, and now I'm looking at this and it's like I win this fight and my life changes. So for me, there is no emotion in it. It's just me going to go out there and I'm just going to do the same as I did in Des Moines, the same as I did in Paris, and try and have some fun and just be intelligent in the approach.
And you feel that whole experience has been necessary to rebuild you into the fighter you are today?
Well, what's the quote? Pressure is privilege, and for me, it's just making me a better person. And like I said, I chose to do this. I chose every day. Every day when you wake up and it's a bad day, you choose to do it. Like, no matter what run in your life you're at, where you are, you need to realize that you chose to be there. They're your choices that made you and that put you in that place, and you just choose to find your way out. Thank you.
Messenger's here.
Hi. Oh, there we go. Hi.
Sorry, yeah. You speak about your time in Cage Warriors, and many Cage Warriors fighters. I know they posted a video a few events back asking who is the greatest Cage Warriors fighter of all time, and quite a few people said yourself. What does Cage Warriors mean to you as a promotion? Because that's where you made your name coming up. And what is it? I know you still do commentary and stuff there, so you've got a lot of respect for the promotion. And when you look back and reflect on your time at Cage Warriors, what does it mean to you?
So Cage Warriors was like my high school. That's the way I see it. It's my secondary school, my high school, my school days. You learn all the way through it, and they sculpt you into where you need to be. For me, I was on a tear the first time through, and I thought I could take that into the UFC, and I did. I did very well. I just didn't quite, like I said, hit my stride, and I didn't feel relaxed in any of my performances. I didn't really enjoy any of the fights I have, and I've enjoyed fighting since I was 7. So it was just a lot of stress, a lot of pressure behind it, and this run I haven't felt that. This run, every single time you see me laughing and giggling, and even the hockey fight, my coaches come into the corner at the end of the first round, and the first thing I said was I don't feel great, and they started laughing at me, and they said, well, you're in it now, strap down, and let's get it going, and we just laughed. And you can watch it back and see Bisping says Hockey's corner was kicking off even though he won the first round, and my corner were just laughing at me. And that's the approach we have. We're just here to enjoy ourselves and be wise and smart and take the emotion out. Like I was saying, it's like I go out there and it's to be a scalpel. It's not to be an anvil. It's not to get hit against and to prove that I've got a good chin. I know I've got a good chin. I don't want to do that. I want to go out there and I want to decapitate someone in the first few exchanges. I want to be skilled. I want to be tight, and that's what we're going to show.
You spoke about choosing not to re-sign with the UFC. That's something that's very rare. It doesn't happen very often. At that time, did you realise how big of a gamble it was, and was that a hard decision to make?
It wasn't so much that. It was just the UFC is the best of the best, like the little 1%. So you're going in there, and it doesn't matter whether they sign someone. I fought David Onama on 10 days' notice. Like they told me they're signing someone at featherweight. You'll walk through him. He's nothing. And then I fought David Onama, and it was just like, and look at David's career so far. David's done amazing. So it's like, you never know you do know. You know every single fight's going to be a serious test, every single time. And they're only going to get harder, and I'm looking forward to it. I am looking forward to it, because the more momentum I build, and the harder the opposition I fight, the better I'm getting, and the more refined version you're going to see. And for me, like, I look back at my Cage Warriors days, and even when I left the UFC, I went back to Cage Warriors. I never once had to think of this fight is going to be difficult to do this. I hardly even looked at my opponents. I looked at them, did literally 10 minutes of breakdown, and was like, yeah, I'll walk that. And I walked them every single time. The only fight I didn't was my last fight in Manchester, and that was because he said in an interview that he was going to make me wrestle him. And I was like, okay. And then you've seen the Michael Pagnani 3-round war. So, yeah, I enjoy fighting. I love fighting. And I enjoy the science behind fighting, and you're going to see a scientific fight this Saturday.
Last one from me. I'm asking every UK fighter on the card. With the White House being the most talked about event, maybe in UFC history, it's gone crazy. If there was going to be a Welsh version of the White House card, what venue would you choose, and who would you like to fight on that card?
Well, there's only one venue in Wales where you can put it in that's big enough, and I'd love to headline that card. Obviously, there's only me and Oban in the UFC at the moment. So we do need some young fighters coming through and some more Welsh prospects. And they're coming. They are definitely coming. There's levels and people coming through all the time. But for me, like I said, fight in London, and that's my whole goal. That's my whole mountain. And we'll see what's next after that. But yeah, there's a lot of fun places to fight. And I'd love to come back to Wales eventually and fight. But that's a conversation for a few fights down the line.
Thanks, Mason.
Thank you.
Just right here.
Hi.
Do you, after talking about visualization and being focused on Axel Sola, did you identify some strange or holes in his game? And if we play the game of the prediction, what did you saw for you as a win for Saturday night?
So Axel's very rangy. He's 6'2", so he's long. We've got the same reach, but his reach is definitely going to be longer than mine on fight night because he's got the length to his body and he fights so bladed. Sorry. He kicks very well. He strikes very well. He throws in twos a lot of the time. He's very strong wrestling. He has decent ground game off his back, but he doesn't like to do it. There's holes everywhere. The same as he's looked at me and he's obviously found holes in where he can see. I expect I know what he's going to look for, and he sort of knows what I'm going to look for. We all know how it goes. It's just going to be a fun night. Like I'm really looking forward to go out there and taking the fight to Axel and really digging in and being the cleaner guy. But it is going to be a precise fight. Yeah, like I'm interested in starting on the feet, the same as Axel's interested in keeping on the feet. I'm not against taking it down to the floor, but I always like to come for a fight. I'm never going to be one of those guys who looks to take someone down, just hold them down or pressure them against the cage. Axel might do. We'll see. I've seen in some of Axel's fights, I've watched a lot of Axel's fights, where he's ended up in wrestling exchanges and held the fight out and had to stall it out for a few rounds, and I have no intentions of that. It'll be a high-paced fight from the start.
And do you think for both of you the reward will be a top 15 fight after that? With
For me, definitely. Like I said, there was no space in my mentality for anything else. I beat Axel Sola, whether it's 3-5s or 1-5 or 1 minute or 30 seconds. I beat Axel Sola Saturday night, and that's my foundation set, and I can start flying.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mason, right here at the back.
Yes, sir.
Hi. You are in a 6-5 winning streak. Axel is in 4. I think both of your styles predicts the fight of the night, and loads of fans says this is the people's main event. So, what do you think? You will get a fight of the night or performance of the night, Bones?
Honestly, my entire vision in this fight is just to beat Axel Sola. Like, I went into London having to make a splash. I needed to, because I needed to prove that I deserved to be there. I have nothing to prove this one. I deserve to be here. I'm an amazing fighter, and I'm better than 99% of people. I'm going to prove eventually that by the time I start climbing that top 15, I'm going to keep improving, and I'm going to be good enough to be number 1. And the only way I do that is by breaking Axel Sola. And it doesn't matter whether it's a finish, whether it's a points decision. It's going to be a fun fight. Everyone knows it's going to be a fun fight. If he wants to make it a boring fight, he can try and make it a boring fight, and I'll just elbow him to pieces. So for me, it doesn't matter whether I get a bonus or not. All that matters is beating Axel. Obviously, I'd love to have an extra 100,000. Me and my partner want to buy a house soon. But if I start looking at, if I do this and do that and do this and do that, or if I bring in this, it'll be a fun fight, I'm just going to go out there and beat him. That's all that matters.
Thank you very much and good luck.